I was staying in an Airbnb to celebrate a friend's birthday. It was actually nicer than the apartment my friend lived in, so we invited people there instead. Late afternoon comes along, and we're sitting around a table drinking. It's pouring outside. I hear a weird gurgling from the bathroom, so I go check it out and find that the toilet started to back up a bit. I call the landlord. He tells me that this happens from time to time when the rain is heavy. I plunge and flush the toilet, and it goes down fine, and I rejoin my friends in the common room. All is well. About 15 minutes pass. I suddenly hear a much more aggressive gurgle coming from the bathroom. I run over to find that not only is the toilet backing up at a worrying rate, but that dirty water is also erupting up through the ground where the toilet is screwed into the floor. I turn off the water valve to the toilet, but it just keeps coming. I toss some towels in an attempt to slow this poop waterfall, and call the Airbnb host, who says he'll be over ASAP. At this point, the shower is filling with a rank, deep brown liquid, and the water from the toilet is spilling over the bathroom threshold into the hallway. Our host arrives with a shop vac and starts using it to suck up the mess with my help while my guests are huddled on the couch in fear. I'm standing next to the host with towels when the shop vac lets out this ratchet mechanical noise, which is also accompanied with a blast of raw sewage through the exhaust vent, covering me in aerosolized waste. Turns out that this shop vac isn't actually equipped to handle liquids and doesn't now seem to be working. We then flee to my friend's place, where I take a very long, very hot shower. Not really the Airbnb host's fault, but certainly my worst experience to date.
I rented a 4-story apartment for a weekend with friends. The building was labyrinthine and windowless in common areas. The elevators were unsettling, lined with concrete. Despite its height, the apartment was cramped and gloomy throughout. I slept in the converted attic on the top floor, which lacked windows and felt claustrophobic. The first night, I stayed at a French girl's place, regretting it later. On the second night, I returned to the apartment with one friend who took the only bed on the bottom floor. The thick door with a hotel lock was the only way in or out of the apartment that we knew of. I couldn't sleep in the attic and felt uneasy. We decided not to use the hotel lock on the front door because we were expecting some friends back in the middle of the night. However, we secured the light deadbolt. I tossed and turned all night, unable to relax, and ended up staring at the ceiling. Around 4 a.m., I heard footsteps coming up the final staircase leading to the door of the attic room. The door creaked open with a high-pitched squeal, and I saw a shadowy figure approaching me slowly. It was too dark to identify the person, but I assumed it was my friend messing with me. I called out, but there was no response. The figure continued to approach me, and I realized it wasn't my friend. I jumped out of bed, grabbed a lamp, and prepared to defend myself. I swung the lamp at the intruder, broke it, and ran down the stairs. I woke up my friend and told him what happened. We decided to leave immediately, but we met 2 drunk friends who insisted we were overreacting and asked us to return with them. We refused and left the building. Later that night, our drunk friends texted us, claiming the place was clear but accusing us of trashing it. We left the door open but didn't trash the place. I spent the rest of the night at McDonald's, and the next morning, I retrieved my belongings and left the Airbnb. To this day, nobody believes me, but I am convinced that someone broke in that night.
I stayed at a lovely Airbnb in Iowa for my little brother's graduation. He didn't know I was going to make it, so we threw a surprise party at the Airbnb. While setting up, my other brother and I went down to the basement to get an extra table. The second we got down there, we looked at each other and said, "Yup, it's scary here." We searched for the table, and the longer I spent in the basement, the greater the feeling of dread grew in me. We found the extra table and headed back upstairs, joking about how creepy a seemingly normal basement was. My whole family got together, and the party started. While we were celebrating, my girlfriend decided to run the washer, which was downstairs. She was going to go down alone, but when she came back, she asked me to go with her since it was creepy. Again, I went down and rushed to leave. The basement was now officially scary to me. The party continued, and we had a wonderful time. As the night settled, people left, and it was just me and my girlfriend, relaxing after an afternoon of eating and drinking. We were relaxing when the laundry buzzer went off. She said she didn't pick up the load from earlier, and I thought it was strange that it hadn't beeped hours ago. We headed down to the basement. Again, she stopped at the stairs to the basement and asked me to go first. As I was going down, the buzzer on the washer went off again, scaring us. We both jumped, and I hurried down, grabbed the laundry, and we headed upstairs to let it air dry. As we finished, I could tell she was still nervous, so we decided to go through the house and lock all the windows and doors. My girlfriend stayed beside me the whole time. We finally had one last door, the door to the back garden, right outside the kitchen and at the top of the basement. I went to lock the door, ignoring the sense of dread I felt with my back turned to the basement. I should mention this was an oldish house, so the stairs were steep, and the bedroom where we slept was probably originally an attic. In order to turn on the lights upstairs, you had to flip a switch at the bottom of the stairs. I flipped on the switch and headed for the stairs. Just as I did, I heard a loud banging sound like the sound of pots or something metallic clanging. My girlfriend's face was full of fear, and I'm sure mine was too. I began to go for the kitchen where there was a knife, but then I heard the whacking again, at the top of the stairs. I turned to look against the now illuminated attic and saw a ceiling fan turned on to its max setting, and its mounting pole making the sound. I ran upstairs and turned off the fan, my girlfriend close behind me. We got ready for bed. I headed downstairs to turn off the light switch and went upstairs. We began to fall asleep, but it was a restless night. I had dreams of seeing a shadowy figure out on the lawn. I woke up the next morning tired and made my way down to the kitchen to brew some coffee. As I was turning around, I looked at the staircase. I turned around and noticed something was off about the staircase leading to the basement. Despite not knowing why, I felt compelled to investigate further and proceeded down the stairs. After a quick search, I found nothing out of the ordinary and made my way back up to join my girlfriend. We packed our bags and double-checked everything, but just as we were about to leave, the laundry machine buzzed. Both of us were hesitant to stick around and decided to make a quick exit. As we hurriedly left the house, I grabbed our bags and instructed my girlfriend to start the car. Suddenly, the fan upstairs turned on again, making a loud noise that sent chills down my spine. Without hesitation, I bolted out of the house and into the car, where my girlfriend saw the terror in my eyes. We quickly drove to a nearby diner to collect our thoughts, and I sent a message to the Airbnb host, informing them of the noisy wash. In response, the host sent a brief message.
"Thank you for staying with us. Thank 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 you for staying with us."